Hello, my name's Kevin Rourke. I run a show called Inquisitorial Archive. We're talking about RPGs, and we're responding to a video by Emergent Play, his 20th episode, about rewards and what effects they have on games, whether it be XP or gold or whatever. You know how these all. He's talked about economics in a previous video, but this is more on what characters get, sort of rewarding behavior, different things, and I think different games handle in different ways. There's many ways. Obviously, XP is a very obvious one, as said. But I think some games, for example, some of the White Wolf games, they have the virtues and vices, or just demeanors and nature, that kind of thing, and they're rewarding the character for role playing. This is one of the examples I see pretty commonly, and I've tried to bring that up in my recent Only War game. When listening to a Fistful of Dice video about, he was talking about use these things. I can't remember if you've heard them as freebie points, but that's what I've started referring to as when somebody does something that this tell a really funny joke, or they something that often I'm going for often more as immersive, or they come up with very good points like okay, and I'll give them a freebie point which they can spend like a fate point, but if they don't have it spent by the end of the session, then everyone gets 10 extra XP. It's only a small thing, but these can build up. It's a little change I've made, like giving rewards. So like if someone actually does some really good role playing, give this, or they come up with if they bring something to the game that was unexpected effectively sometimes, or things like that, just help it be more enjoyable experience. It's not necessarily all stuff about in character, but trying to use elements like that, that's something I've tried to do in game, or sometimes it's as simple as additional XP in different respects. So I think the freebie point thing I was effectively doing there is pretty has gone down pretty well. I know in some games like Death Watch, similar to White Wolf things, they have demeanors. You've two demeanors. You've your chapter demeanor and your personal demeanor. And if you role play these, when you're spending, you can spend like a fate point, and you get additional bonuses effectively. You get double the effect, which works out pretty well. It's pretty cool. I think my favorite reward system that I've seen in RPG and worked out really well is the stunt mechanic from Scion, where it's a reward, but it's not necessarily a reward being given like demeanors. It's not a reward being given by the GM. Demeanors in Death Watch, it's not like a reward being given by the GM. This is given by the other players. The stunt mechanic, for those who aren't familiar in Scion, is you describe an action, you give a big description of how your character's doing it, and you try basically try being more immersive, give very detailed, and you try to make it look cool. And you do this and you describe how your character's going to do something, and then if everyone in the group agrees, you get additional dice to try and pull it off. If everyone agrees, yeah, that was actually pretty cool, and everyone has to agree about it. Much more like the demeanor for Death Watch, everyone has to agree on it, and it's not the GM's decision. It's actually kind of cool to be taking that decision. Like, the GM has no call on this, although I have seen several GMs, and myself included, say like, okay, it has in the book, players make a decision. However, if this ends up getting abused, that everyone's letting everyone off for like, oh yeah, I like take out my sword and I hit him repeatedly, it's like, that's not that great. And if everyone's going, yeah, no, that's fantastic, he's like, go for it. It's like, no. Fortunately, I've never seen a GM like even giving that caveat of if people abuse it, I'll take it away. Effectively, that I'll be making a decision. Never actually has been done, thankfully, because everyone was understanding. I think in my own game group, a lot of people have become more comfortable with it because we understand it has to be. That it has. I like those mechanics sometimes. That it's you're trying to get the group to sign around the GM, because a lot of time rewards are being handed out by the GM. Sometimes there's in character stuff that other players can control, but I actually like that there's this mechanic where it gets a group more involved. You're not just trying to get it off the GM, you're trying to get it off everyone, which is pretty cool. And the effect this has is not necessarily one-upsmanship. I think in certain groups it could definitely turn into one-upsmanship, but it encourages people to to role play and be more descriptive with how their character's doing things, and I think it adds a lot to a game. So that's one good mechanic for it, which I think you can put these two both into the same boat with the Death Watch and their demeanors. But the demeanors are defined set things, stunts. Not so much, because the demeanors are supposed to be with your personality and how that impacts upon things. So it's pretty cool. And I've seen as well the fate points for different 40k games. As they're going, characters have pulled off something incredibly daring, and it has to be a very big scale things that the GM can give them fate points, which allow them to have more rerolls, stave off debt, and it's kind of one of those big rewards that you should rarely get. But it works out pretty well, I think, to encourage you that if you have a couple of these, you don't have to be as worried about that. You know, your character might burn a fate point, but probably not going to die. Unless they're in a situation where really a GM and yourself can think of no way that your character's getting out as alive. Fate points will get you out in a mangled wreck, possibly minus all your gear, but you'll get out alive. So it encourages people to be a bit more daring. And it's not just a mechanic, the fact of given as a reward is pretty cool. And I know in some variations of D20, like the World of Warcraft one, where you can get the World of Warcraft pen and paper game, where you can get action points. I know they've got them in some of the different D20 ones, but I'll single that one out, that you can get these things which can give you a reroll, or like you automatically confirm a crit and stuff, and you get these through doing cool stuff. But the fact that, much like many of these mechanics, they do say you can get these, but you shouldn't give them out. The GM should not assign them for doing stuff that they've gotten by spending these. So it's like, okay. So I think there's a lot of mechanics out there of different kinds of describing which encourage you to be more daring with your characters, because nobody wants their character to die, or at least not very often anyway. Everyone in general, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in general will want their character to succeed, but they're worried about losing their character because they've invested time and they've, you know, had a lot of fun with the character, and they're hopefully wanting to see the character through to the end. So I think a lot of the mechanics there that make it a bit safer for your character to do this, or increase the likelihood of success, encourage more daring in the games. And that can be quite a good asset. And it can be quite good to have these little rewards, whether it be the stunts or the various different things, to encourage your success and do these things. Because in games where you're trying to be very dynamic, it wouldn't suit for every game. It obviously won't. And that's why these rewards aren't present in every game. But for some games it will. And I really like that. They've got these additional little things, and I think a lot of the time in my own experience, going to something slightly different, I'll wrap it up soon, but going into something slightly different, I know that even something as simple as a unique feat or talent to commemorate your character having finished a long end of story arc doesn't have to be huge. But I think a lot of players that I've had, that when you do put those in to put a special, like, well, your character's out this, a new character comes in, they don't get this, that you're given access to this. It's pretty cool to be given this option, and you know that new characters won't necessarily get this. And it's a nice way of commemorating it and rewarding people. I think it encourages them to, you know, get more involved with the plot and become more committed to the character. And I've seen people augmenting stuff like the distinction system in Death Watch, where your character can get special abilities, but the GM is supposed to do a bundle of these. I've never actually seen anyone do this, but I've seen GMs, including myself included, basically going, you can have access to this distinction because you can roleplay your character this way. It's a reward for, well, you've done something unusual with your character that makes them different. It doesn't mean you get access to all these things, but because your character is this specific way, you can now spend XP to get this, which, you know, gives a mechanical benefit, something necessarily you've been role-playing. Like, for example, I have a character who has tactical expertise in Death Watch, which means that when he's kill team leader, everyone else does one of the abilities, everyone else gets additional bonuses to damaging hordes. And I got that because the character was, I was role-playing the character, getting to be able to coordinate the whole time, and, you know, how we were going to use our different abilities, like, and it worked out pretty well. Whereas some of the other characters, one of them was iron-willed, and he got the ability iron-willed because his character was so restrained the majority of the time, but when he let loose, his character was scary. You know, what he'd come out with, like what his character would do would be utterly vicious and brutal. But it was kind of cool that he got this reward. So that's kind of thing, like, kind of links in with, like, saying the talent stuff, to be, these aren't available to everyone, but you meet prerequisites primarily through role playing. They're nice little rewards which do have the mechanical benefits, but it's like, yeah, you're never going to get all these because nobody is ever going to be all of these things. But a reward to make your character more unique because of how they are. And you can bring in a new character if they die, and they might get access to different distinction talents. And as well, there can be group ones, like I said, with those tans. And another one we got in that particular game was called Blood Brothers, where we were able to coordinate better because our characters were working phenomenally well together. And the GM was like, I've never actually seen a group in this game, the characters working that well together. But they're working, and they shouldn't have really been able to on paper, but they worked out quite well. So getting that reward in that game was a big thing. And we've had a new character come in, and he hasn't gelled as well. He's doing pretty good, but he hasn't gelled as well with us. He's not being as cohesive with us. So although he's working pretty okay with us, he hasn't gotten this special ability. And he might never get this special ability. But he's earned access to other abilities, which is pretty cool. And I think I'll leave it there. Those are my own thoughts on awards and how they can really make you become more attached to a game. And how they can encourage you to, like I said, be more dynamic or different things. Some of these points, were touched on by different people, but these are my own thoughts. I'll leave it there. Goodbye.